G'day. This is Charlie, and I'm coming to you today with your daily dose of business tech inspiration. Topic number 272, the role of color psychology in website design. Well, the role of color in website design and the psychology of color in website design. It's really like color is amazing. Color will make or break your website. And if you don't believe me, go and have a look at some of the sites that you go, gee, I really hate that site. And then tell me why you don't like that site. And I'll guarantee you it's because the colors aren't working for you. Well, part of it will be the colors just aren't working. They don't work together, or they don't work for the brand message, or they just don't work for you as the target audience. Color on a website can influence emotions. Different colors evoke specific emotions. If I was to generalize, and we are talking about generalization here because there will be exceptions to every rule, but if I generalize, blue is generally trustworthy, red is for passion and excitement, green is for calmness. And if I was to go through other colors, there's other emotions they evoke as well. But if I look at just those three, blue, red, and green, RGB, red, green, and blue, what do you know? Trustworthy, red is passion, and green for calmness. It's going to influence how your visitors and your target audience feel about your brand when they come and visit your website. You need to choose colors that align with your brand's personality and values to create consistent, cohesive looks and feels, or a consistent and cohesive look and feel. Let me reword that. If you don't have your brand identity set, if you are just starting out and you're like, I just want to build a website and get myself up there, that's fine. I'm not going to say go out and work with a graphic designer and get a logo and get a brand book all done. I am going to say to you, though, make sure you create your own very rudimentary brand book. And what I mean by that is that these are the fonts that I'm using. Find what fonts they are, link to them if you're using online fonts. Like if you've gone to google.com/fonts and you've chosen a Google font, make sure you link back to those fonts so you know which ones they are. Because then when you go and create a document that you need to, like you want to do a flyer or something and you want to print it out, you can use those fonts in that document. If you want to create a new page and you can't remember which fonts you were using, really, really difficult trying to find it sometimes. So make sure you've got that all linked. Make sure you know the exact color codes for the colors you're going to use. No, and by the color codes, I mean it's the hex code, the 6-digit hex code, or the RGB code, the red, green, blue code that you use that defines the shade of the color that you're using. Make sure you know what they are and use that consistently across your brand identity, because nothing is worse than seeing one page with one shade of color and then going to another page and having the same color, but it's a different shade. Or worse even then is going down the page and having the shades change all the way through because you haven't noted down exactly what color you're using. Color pickers are great until you can't remember which block of blue you used in that color picker and you go, I'll just use that one this time. Make sure you know which colors you're using. Colors can be used to guide user behavior on a website. You can use color to break out your call to actions, to highlight your call to actions and other information. You can use bold and contrasting colors to do it. So typically you would use a black or a dark text on a white background for your content, your text for your content font, content color. If you get down to a call to action and you need that to stand out, you can then use either one of your highlight fonts, highlight colors. You could use red to break it out and really make it stand out. You can actually make it contrast with the rest of the content so it stands out and draws people's eyes to it. I mentioned using a dark font on a light background. It's really important that when you're looking at your colors on your website, you consider the readability for your visitors, and particularly for visitors with visual impairments. Not that I would class myself as having a visual impairment per se. Yes, I wear glasses. I have trouble if the contrast between the font color and the background isn't enough. I have had people bring to me designs and say, we want to use this really light color font or this really light color for our content on a white background. I'm like, we can't use that. It's not readable. People won't be able to see it, or they'll have difficulty seeing it, and you're going to lose people. Similarly, if you have a dark background, you need to make sure that you use a light font on it, but not so much that the light font the light color actually looks like it's glowing off of the page because of the contrast between the dark and the light font. Really important stuff, and sometimes you'll need to play around with it to work out what you need, but you can absolutely use your color psychology to improve your readability. The other thing that you need to think about is how colors are perceived in different cultures, in different parts of the community, particularly if your business operates globally. If you're operating in Australia, you're normally cool. You can normally use any color, but some cultures, some colors that mean particular things to them, and you need to be a little wary of that. If you're not certain, absolutely do your homework before you move into that market and understand what your colors might mean to them. And as I said before, make sure that you have a consistent palette. Stick to a limited color palette. Don't have 10 or 12 different colors. I would honestly recommend having no more than 4 colors, 4 primary colors that you're using, main colors that you're using, and then a couple of shades on them to do highlights, contrasts, whatever it is. But make sure you limit your color palette so that you can keep your visual harmony and you're not overwhelming or confusing visitors when they come to your site. Okay, color. I love it. I absolutely adore it. It's something I don't necessarily do well myself. I say that. I don't think I do it well for myself. I think I work really well with other people to help them determine it for their websites. It's funny how your own stuff is always different, isn't it? What do you guys think? How do you work with color? What have you found works? What have you found doesn't work? I'd love to know it. Please leave comments wherever you are listening to or watching this video. You can join us on our locals community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. You can send us a DM on any of our social media channels and we will respond to you. Tomorrow we are going to be talking about how to use call to actions effectively on your website. I've been talking about call to actions for the last few days, and maybe it's time we talk about how to use them effectively on your website, what they are and how to use them. If you can, before you go today, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you find out when our next piece of content drops. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, guys. Bye.